This is my dog. Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Journal presented by members of the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. My name is Mark Morriso, and also hosting the show today are Donna Drapo,
Hi.
Jay Kingston,
Yo,
and finally returning from the trucking guy on the road. He hates that, that's why we say it. Calvin Watts. Hello, Calvin.
golf clap you.
I'm actually home. It's a miracle.
It's nice to see you back, too.
Yeah,
you.
That's good. We are in the,
so turn around. Let's see your front.
we are in the new East Providence studio, and things are a little comfy cozy in here, but we enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll redress the set and such as time goes on. But let's get started with some sci-fi news. Alvin, you want to start us off with some things?
Well, let's see. The biggest news that's probably going on this month is that they have named the official Star Wars Episode 1 movie. Coming out in May, it's going to be called Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
Yuck.
Why did they name this movie like that? That is such a boring title. That's not even funny.
Because of all the creative computer people, all the creative artists and makeup people and script writers, they haven't got one single person who can come up with a good title. Okay, that's the whole reason.
That's a good reason. Sounds good.
It's probably one of those working title things
Let's
again.
hope it's a working title. And they get something. I mean, maybe when we see the movie, you know, you'll think, yeah, that's obviously what they should have called the damn.
Yeah, I was
Sounds
thinking,
to me like the Phantom Toll Booth.
or is it? Yeah, that's true. or is it possible that's the Phantom Menace has something to do with the plot?
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's possible,
You know?
but it's going to be so overhyped like Godzilla was this year. You almost wonder if it's going to even be able to live up to the hype, even though it's a Star Wars
what
movie.
I've heard, it looks really good. Somebody that's in the know has a little bit of information about it, can't divulge anything, but he will tease and say it's great and it's gonna rock. So.
And we all know who that is, and you don't.
I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
No.
And, what was I going to say? I was going to say something. I forgot about Star Wars. The only film that's even daring to open the same weekend as this movie is Beavis and Butthead, the second movie. They're coming out with another Beavis and Butthead.
I'm just watching your hand. You're doing that whole Ben Kenobi thing over here.
I know.
Like
Use the Force.
you don't need to go see Beavis
Hey, you don't
and
need to go see
Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead. Star Wars, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a lame title, but.
You
Oh.
will give me a pay raise.
Wait, my boss
if only that
isn't
worked.
I know. We could only use one.
So that's the working title.
Yeah, so obviously when we find out more about the movie, we'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Take it from there. In other news, Jim Cameron's Spider-Man might actually become a go because Marvel has come out of Chapter 11. Isn't that wonderful?
But they've gone into Chapter 11 like more times.
Yeah, I know. Well, they finally authorized the reorganization plan, and Toy Biz, which is the toy company that makes all the Marvel figures, which Marvel used to own,
Right.
did a switcheroo, and now Toy Biz owns Marvel.
Yeah, poetic justice, I think.
Yeah, now what I want to know is
Nice not to
James
help
Cameron
that
going to
either.
be out of Chapter 11? I mean, after Linda Hamilton takes him to the cleaners for,
Yeah, true.
you know, what's going to... And Jim, what were you thinking? I
Well,
mean,
after
Linda
James
Hamilton for
Cameron.
some other girl? Linda Hamilton, come on.
She was all pumped up and
No
everything.
kidding.
I know.
Yeah.
Have her go Terminator on you. You know, it'll change the relationship, trust me.
Hi, honey, want to go Terminator tonight?
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Safety.
Great director, but
Save this girl. Everybody.
bad marriages.
Bad
But,
marriages.
There are
I'm not going there. Go ahead.
We'll see the film.
Didn't he do that
I'm
movie?
sorry.
What was
I'm
that
sorry.
big movie
Not
he just
personally.
did?
No,
Oh,
no.
what, Cameron?
Titanic. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, the one about the ship sinking.
The one about the ship. I never watched it because I knew how it was going to end. So why
Oh,
bother?
no,
You still need to watch
I
it.
still need to
It
watch
was
it.
sad.
I'd watch
Good
it.
So
movie.
sad.
So sad.
There
It
are
was
no
sad when the
immediate
great
plans
ship went
for
down.
any changes over at Marvel, but supposedly Toy Biz is going to be implementing a program where a lot of marginal selling titles are going to be dropped. So, again, as soon as we know, you'll know.
You mean all those spin-offs that everybody questioned in the first place, they're actually going to drop?
Again, yes.
Thank God. Like they,
What about X-Force? Is that been dropped or?
No,
is that...
not as of yet.
That's
I liked that one.
pretty good, isn't it? That's a
it's
strong
still-
title.
I think
It's
we got
probably
a strong
one-
guy on the set somewhere down there.
It's probably one of those marginal selling titles. They're trying to do stuff to balance sales, but DC has become the #1 after like ever since Marvel came out, the #1 comic book company again.
Right.
And in a quickly related note, they bought out Wildstorm Comics with Jim Lee, so Jim Lee's going to be leaving Image Comics. So
DC.
that's
Yeah, they
a
did.
big acquisition for them. That
Yeah.
easily vaults them into the #1 position.
Yep.
And they've been doing a lot of good things. And as a side note, if for people like comic books, read the Batman storylines. I don't know if you know about Gotham City getting destroyed in an
Destroyed by
earthquake.
an earthquake, right.
Well, the next twist is that the U.S. government isn't going to give them the money to refund Gotham, so they're basically going to close it down and tell the citizens to get out.
Right.
So it's going to become basically a no man's land. And it sounds like a really good storyline for people to check out over the next year or so.
Yep, good stuff. All right, did you want to mention something too about Persis Kambata?
Yeah, we had a couple of sci-fi related deaths, unfortunately, over the past couple of months, and Persis Kambata was one of them. For those of you who remember, she starred in Star Trek The Motion Picture as, is it Aaliyah or
I think
Ilea.
Ilea.
Yep.
The bald-headed woman, Delta person.
She was a Delta.
Delta.
She was a mad navigator, right?
She was a navigator, that's correct, yeah.
She died at 49. I believe she died in India. It was a heart attack, and she hasn't done much lately. In fact, the last thing I know that she had done movie-wise was Nighthawks with Sylvester Stallone, but she was in a Lois and Clark episode, I guess, a couple of years back.
Or was she? Okay.
She was pretty underutilized. She seemed to be a very talented artist, and it's a shame.
Well, maybe she was more utilized or in Europe and
or-
Asia.
yeah,
I mean,
could be.
there were a lot of very popular actors and actresses that we don't know here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And Roddy McDowell passed away.
Roddy McDowell,
Yeah.
which is a real shame. He's always been one of my favorites. Not just for the landmark stuff that he did with Planet of the Apes, which a lot of people take it for granted now, but Planet of the Apes was one of those movies that set the standard for motion picture makeup. There's been a show running on the A&E network recently showing all the things that they went through trying to get Planet of the Apes made and the development of all the makeup and things like that. And aside from all of that, I mean, Roddy McDowell was just one of those rare actors who could say so much with an expression. He could just look at you and you could feel everything that his character was supposed to be feeling. And there was a movie out a few years ago that he was actually in 1 and 2. And I thought that they were one of my favorite horror films,
Fright
which
Night.
was Fright Night.
Fright Night. Oh, that was
It
a
was
great
a
movie.
fabulous, fabulous.
great
That was
movie.
awesome.
In fact, I liked his character so much, I actually went out as his character one Halloween.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the box with all the stakes and stuff in it.
Now, did he do the second one?
Yes, he did.
He did the second one.
Yes, he did. And he actually, where in the first movie he seemed kind of like the cowardly lion type, in the second movie he actually took an active role and actually pursued after the creatures.
Right, yeah.
Which was really neat.
He was one of those actors where, at least, especially during that movie, you saw his character develop from someone who pretended to be a vampire killer into someone who actually was a vampire killer.
Right.
It was well done.
Right. I think he was the original, this has nothing to do with science fiction, it does have to do with fantasy. He was the original Modred on Broadway in Camelot, from what I remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And going back even further as a child actor, wasn't he involved in Lassie? Did he have
Lassie,
Yeah.
National Velvet, I
National
think,
Velvet.
with
He was
Elizabeth
involved in
Taylor.
something with Liz Taylor.
With Liz
Right.
Taylor.
Yeah.
They were very good friends,
Yep.
and
He
I'm
also-
going to miss him
he
immensely.
also did a lot of the voiceovers for some of the Christmas specials.
Oh,
and
yes.
just other animated things.
Mm-hmm. He had one of those instantly recognizable voices. Whenever you heard it some way, hey, that's Roddy McDowell.
Yeah.
And as I said, I'm going to miss him terribly.
Yep, he will be missed. All right, another sci-fi news, West End Games, if you're into gaming. West End Games Company, who used to own the license for the Star Wars role-playing game, has gone under. They filed for bankruptcy. What a shame. One of our,
What a surprise.
what a surprise, too. One of our members, Mike Filati, used to do a lot of artwork for West End Games. Got paid most of the time, too.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, they went under, so we're not sure, if you're into role-playing games, who's going to be picking up the license for Star Wars.
Well, anybody who can afford to pay
Yeah.
the
I'd
extremely
say Wizards of the
exorbitant
Coast.
prices.
Wizards of the Coast might
yeah.
get it,
That's my
and
bet.
TSR might be putting in a bid for it as well.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't Wizard of the Coast own that?
They own the same
Well,
thing. Yeah, you're right, they do.
So.
Same
What about
same
FOSSA?
difference. I don't think FOSSA would do it because they've already got Shadowrun.
I don't think
and
they got the money.
They don't have
They
the
don't.
books.
They don't have the financial resources
They're
to pull
gonna,
that.
they're
That
gonna
would,
want clout.
Yeah, so if you're a role-playing gamer and you really enjoy Star Wars and you see some Star Wars books or information on the shelves, pick them up now, because that's going to be the end of West End games. When it's gone for good. I gotta stop doing this hand thing. I should learn how to sign just to take care of it. Okay.
You should
and then
take
there's a
some
new movie
Thorazine
coming
or
out
something.
as we tape. It should be out in the next couple of weeks. Vampires, which is a new movie with fellow Rhode Islander James Woods.
Yeah.
Really good.
As a vampire killer who's sent by the Vatican to wipe out this nest of vampires.
Go
That
Jim.
looks like what we wanted Blade to be.
Does
like.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Now you saw Blade. You were
We saw
disappointed
Blade.
with it.
Yeah, very disappointed with it. I mean, it had its moments, but you don't stop a movie dead flat and throw in 3 to 5 minutes worth of setting and mood, you know, and then jump back into the action. I mean, you're killing the momentum. I mean, that was one major problem with the movie. Hopefully this one will be a lot better.
So
Yeah.
tell me, how many of you see a correlation between the success of Buffy and the sudden emergence of all the Vampire Slayer movies?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, sure.
Not at all.
No doubt about
Something
that.
it's
You've been on the
working,
road
you
too
go
much.
Not a
for it.
doubt. That's sarcasm,
Well,
man, my
most
friend.
of the
It
it
is.
started beforehand, but it's the Laurel K. Hamilton books too are popular, and I don't think it's riding on the coattails of Buffy, but it's part of the pull, and
Right.
everybody's jumping on. It's just vampires are hot. You
It's
can't
actually-
do anything wrong with a vampire.
Everything's riding on Bram Stoker's Dracula still
Right.
from back in the early 90s.
Oh, well,
Yeah, but I mean, that didn't really, I mean, you didn't really have a vampire slayer per se in that film. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
Von Helsing went out and got, he got
slayed 'em.
revenge. He did kill Dracula, but it was more or less of a thing where it was a necessity. It was self-preservation. It wasn't just like somebody was actively going out and hunting down vampires and killing them en masse, you know?
Well, that was supposedly the first one, so
Right.
that started the need.
Right.
Right, or the first acknowledged one
Yeah.
anyway.
Plus, with the success of Scream and stuff, Howard is back in style. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
Freddy versus Dayton is actually a go.
What,
God help us all.
Bride of Chucky.
I was just going to say that.
I don't even wanna
Bride
talk
of
about
Chucky,
that.
please stay away from that movie at all costs.
And yeah, named
Evil.
appropriately, Chucky.
I know, movies to be avoided. That's one of
That
them.
doll's been killed more times than
Oh, kill it.
a
keep it
missing.
killed.
Been killed more times than a missing
And all the
host's
kids have
love
killed
life.
Barney.
Exactly. Okay, let's change subject a little bit. Lost in Space has finally been released on video. The DVD version is out. Can you
Hold up that bad
wanna hold it
boy.
up? Hold
Can't
that
really
bad
see it all
boy.
that close.
Can't
Really
really see it
close
all
up.
that close,
Yeah,
but,
But
hey, there you go.
and many of you or any of you that own DVD players, if you
try
love
it this way.
movies, you must
There we go.
pick this up. I got this on sale.
There you go.
This has over like an hour and a half easy of extra stuff, deleted scenes, audio commentary, special effects, storyboards, games. If you have a DVD-ROM computer, you can access even more stuff on it from the Lost in Space website. And not to mention that the movie itself, it's a great transfer. If you have a home theater setup, like I spent the money for, but I absolutely love it. I would never
Right.
go back.
Yeah, spend the money now, buddy, because once you
Yeah,
get
no
back,
kidding.
Yeah. Let's not get into that.
Forget it.
kiss that money goodbye. Bye. See ya.
Yeah, well, since it has brought up, I am going to be a new daddy and I'm getting married too. Isn't that great?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Now you're going to be up to your ass in Barbie the rest of your life.
No, it's going to be a boy. I've been chanting that, and it's
Idea?
only going to be one. No twins.
Are you convinced it's going to be a boy?
Yes.
Start buying clothes for a girl.
Pink room.
Oh,
And that's just for Calvin.
That's right.
So,
All right. Hey.
okay, now we wish
Hey,
A little lace
We wish-
thingy.
me too.
these guys. We were supposed to show a Star Wars parody called Troops, which is not-
What, we didn't go.
Well, did we skip something?
We
Yes,
skipped.
skipped a couple of
Oh,
things.
I'm
Skipped a couple
sorry.
of things here.
Look at the script, Mark.
Soldier
Look at the
with
script.
Kurt Russell is opening
Soldier
in
with-
October.
In late
I saw the
October.
preview of that. Actually, it doesn't look bad.
It does look good.
It doesn't look bad. It does look good.
Our major, our major
this.
local theater critic, MJ,
MJ
has given it 2 stars. So
It's got to be good then.
Yeah, it's gonna rock.
it's probably going to be excellent. Well, MJ doesn't share the same outlook on
doesn't
fantasy
like-
and
No,
science
he
fiction
likes
stuff.
the art
movies.
films.
Yeah, he does. He likes art films, and that's his choice.
And if he trashes an action film, then you know it's a good one.
Now, a little bit of trivia. A little bit of trivia on this particular film. The the director, Paul Anderson, plays homage to other science fiction films, and since it takes place on a garbage planet, you might look for things like a spinner from Blade Runner crashed on the planet, and other bits and pieces of other sci-fi models and props from the movie as you're watching this film. As you go out to see
Maybe
it,
a
watch
droid
from
arm
like what they
sticking
did
out
a
of the
droid
back.
arm and
That'd
those
be
type
cool.
of things. Yeah, he pays homage to those other sci-fi films by throwing that junk, because it supposedly takes place during the same timeline as Blade Runner. So he throws those things in there, which is pretty interesting. All right, what else did I miss?
Games. Because I haven't been here in ages to talk anything about games with the Christmas season coming up.
Okay.
A couple of really hot games coming out, and a couple of people have emailed us. I think Charles was one of them, so hi, Charles.
Hi, buddy.
About upcoming games, and even if I'm not here next month, hopefully you will either next month or in January. I'd like to review some of the upcoming games. For the PlayStation, they're coming out with Tomb Raider 3, which is basically a rehash of Tomb Raider 2, but it's still supposed to be good. Anything with Lara Croft, if you've seen her, you know what I'm talking about, is great. And a lot
Now
of
we know why Calvin's so desperate to get married. He's looking at Lara Croft and getting hot.
Very
So-
funny.
Love those.
How long have you been on the road for, Calvin?
Long enough. Let's not go there. And the biggest PlayStation game is Metal Gear Solid, which is an espionage, Mission Impossible type game, which is supposed to be really, really good, and I look forward to diving
Now I know where
into
they do that next generation pull down.
But the Nintendo 64 is what has the killer games coming out. Turok 2, which is the sequel to Turok 1, but they've totally cleaned it up.
And the prequel to Turok 3.
And the prequel to Turok 3. And it looks really, really good. But the games...
Smack this guy.
The games I want to get are Rogue Squadron, which if any of you have played Shadows of the Empire, they basically took the Snowspeeder level, which is the best level on the first level.
Right.
And it's all flying game. Go around, shoot stuff, do missions. You fly all sorts of ships. You go to all sorts of places like Mon Calamari and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
But even that pales in comparison to Zelda. Zelda is going to be the biggest thing this year, bar none. They have been working on it forever. You're going to hear about it in the mainstream news, and it's going to sell 1 million copies easy before the first day it comes out. And that's a definitely must buy, so I'll be reviewing that, and I'll be telling you about it.
Pre-order.
Yeah, I know, but 1 million copies before that, that's...
They sell more video games
Are you
than
talking
people go to
worldwide?
movies. No, I'm talking U.S., never mind worldwide.
Okay.
And it's usually released overseas in Japan before it's even released in
The
the
whole
States.
reason why video games, well, not the whole reason, but the main reason why video games are back such in style after the video game crash of 1984 is because Zelda came out and took the U.S. and Japan by storm back in
I missed the
a
video.
long time ago.
I'm just
It was a
sitting here.
fun
Is this
game.
going to be
I
like
enjoyed
the
that a
stock
lot.
market crash of, what was
Well,
it, 39?
It was.
I don't know.
Do you know how many,
little.
do you know how
No,
many
30,
ET cartridges are
33.
buried
I don't know.
in the
I wasn't
Mexico
alive during the
landfill?
Depression.
Millions. They sold
Get
millions.
a shovel,
and it
but
was millions
I'm buying
more.
you a shovel for Christmas. That's what I'm going to do.
I actually go out
I got
that
the
way.
Atari! Keep digging!
But you can get them all on one CD and play all those old games.
Oh yeah, that
Okay.
Activision Classics. got
And
the
no
one.
sand.
And no sand.
And no sand.
That's
So-
right. Okay, who's going to talk about the Star Wars parody? Troops.
We all can.
We all can't do that? Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about it? You can start us off. 'cause you know more about
Troops was made by this aspiring filmmaker out in California. I believe it was last year, just as a way to get noticed. And we were planning on showing the whole sequence, but it turns out that the tape isn't going over very well. But it's basically a parody of the Fox TV show Cops. And it has a couple of stormtroopers on the planet Tatooine, going about doing their thing, and the special effects on it are very good. You couldn't almost even tell that they were made by a college computer kid and not, Lucasfilm or Industrial Light and Magic. And it's a bootleg. It's not available. You can download it either from the internet, or if you go into different conventions and stuff, you can pick it up. And it's definitely worth watching. We've all seen it. We laugh.
I especially like the flaming Jawa.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It's like Calvin said, it's the cops show, but it's all the scene where Luke finds that his uncle and aunt, what happened to them. But it's just before that, the troubles that the two had, the couple,
Right.
and the real truth behind that whole scene.
And
It's
if you don't calm
terrible.
down, I'm gonna shoot you.
It's well done. Now you can
Yeah.
like you mentioned, you can download it with your computer. Do you know what the search address is?
No, but I'm sure if you either go into any of the fan-related Star Wars websites or you just do a search for Troops, it'll come
It'll
up.
come
Yeah.
up.
There's the website for us on the screen. Why don't you email us, and we can email you back with the address for the website where
That's a
you can
good
find
idea.
it.
Speaking of the website really quick, the website is going to be up for a couple more months, but I plan on switching it over now that I know a little bit more about HTML to another server so I can make it easier to navigate and not just have everything on one page.
Oh, good.
So look for that.
Okay.
Wonderful. All right, let's get into TV news a little bit. Babylon 5 will hopefully be starting up soon.
There's only like 4 episodes left,
Yeah,
right?
as we tape, it's like towards the end of October, early November, so we're hoping for Babylon 5.
That's what I forgot to mention. Crusade got pushed back.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Probably not until January at the very least, if not later.
Yeah, they've already been casting for it. They have most of it filled in.
Yeah, I guess they're pushing Witchblade, so Witchblade's going to come out first.
Witchblade, the series based on the
Yes,
comic.
on the comic.
Okay.
They're already casting, and we haven't been called?
We haven't been called.
Tracy Scoggins,
Donna.
I guess,
Donna
is
wanted to
the
be
only
part.
one from the original cast.
Yeah. Can you say Minbari? Yeah.
Shellhead.
you little shellhead. How are you? Arrgh, okay.
Each Minbari, if you order now, comes with their own convenient cheese grater.
X-Files has been pushed back also because of the World Series, but now that the World Series is over, it should be premiering. Over. It never begun.
It was like, hey,
Never
it
started.
started, oh, it's done.
That's right. Yeah, the most boring World Series ever in baseball.
No, I wouldn't say
History.
most
Baseball's
boring.
boring to begin with.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Welcome to the Sci-Fi Baseball Show.
Any opinions you hear about sports from this person don't count.
The next thing
So-
she's going to say is that wrestling's all fake.
Ixnay on. Ixnay on the Essling.
Any sport that's a good sport is football.
I'll agree there.
Okay, we won't even talk about hockey. I like hockey.
Hockey's cool.
But anyway,
Hockey.
X-File, yeah, well, not hacky,
Oh,
hockey.
I'm sorry.
It should
My
be
body's here. What are you talking about?
X-File should be returning sometime in the first or second week of November. If you haven't seen the movie...
It's out on video.
Yeah, it's on video now. I would advise you to go out and rent the movie and watch the movie before the series opens, because a lot of the questions from last season were answered in the movie.
And
think
they've
they
stuck some
also-
stuff in the
Extra scenes.
Extra scenes
I guess
that fill in a lot of questions.
the well-manicured man, is that his name,
I think so.
mentions what happened to Mulder's sister.
Right.
I guess that wasn't in the movie. It's also available for sale.
Yeah.
They just pumped it
So
out.
rent it or buy it if you get a chance, which is good. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is another show that we all
Rock.
know and love. Yeah. Oh,
You're never home to watch it.
When he is home,
Yeah.
he's watching wrestling instead of Buffy.
No, when I'm home, I'm usually online, like playing games or doing something.
Playing Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
You used to
Or
be watching
PlayStation.
wrestling.
Memorizing
No, I
each
still watch
level of
wrestling.
the James Bond thing so that he can sucker in people like me and know exactly all the
Yeah.
little ins and
Hey,
outs
it's
and
not
things
my
doing.
fault you run into the grenades
They
and stuff, and the
pick
mud
your-
destroyed you
Who
too.
runs
so don't
into the
start
grenades?
yelling
I ran
at
into
me.
one grenade, pal. One grenade!
You couldn't,
Paintball. I'll take you on a
Rifle.
paintball. Forget it.
you couldn't aim to save your life.
Who can aim with that stupid little... Give me
I
a
keep on
gun.
saying, behind you, and you
Yeah.
still get...
And who has the advantage of looking at all three screens while I'm concentrating on one?
I was
Caught in
trying
a
to help you.
crossfire.
Yep, yep.
I
As
know Mike's
always,
laughing in the
those
back.
who don't preach, okay?
Some people have no compunction about shooting other people in the
In
back.
the back. I always came out the most honorable, of course. That's a little
On
comfort
a
when
side
you're
note,
6
for
feet
those-
under.
You're also
But
most harmless.
yeah,
Quick side note for
I'll
those of
show
you who
you
don't know what
harmless.
we're talking about. GoldenEye is probably the most popular game.
paintball. I'll take you
outside
on.
of Mario. And the Nintendo 64, it's James Bond, it's multiplayer, it's awesome. Try it out.
It's excellent. It's a great game,
is a good
and it was.
game.
A
It's
lot
one
of
of
fun.
those things where you're playing and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I got to kick you people out in 5 minutes, and 5 minutes goes by. Okay, 5 more minutes.
All right, press the red button.
Okay, hit it
One
again.
more game.
One
All right,
more
one
time.
more time. One more time.
And I've had it for a year, and it's still so much fun.
Oh, I can imagine.
All right, moving on. Deep Space Nine has finally opened its new season with a new trill, Esri Dax. Did you have that
Ooh,
cover?
she's cute.
Yes, somewhere.
Okay. What's her name?
Ta-da! Here, you show it.
Here we go. The new Dax with Nicole DeBoer. There's been at least 2 episodes that have aired. I like this character. They've kind of pulled a Doctor Who on us by introducing this new person with the Trill. It's the first time in DS9 history that you actually get to see the person who's gotten the Trill acclimate herself or himself to this new being inside of her,
Right.
and all the relationships between Worf and the other characters is really well done.
Well, isn't the whole Trill concept kind of an homage to Doctor Who
I
anyway?
think so. Yeah, but
Probably.
it's a lot of fun. Deep Space Nine, in my opinion, has gotten a real boost in the arm with this new character, and it should be interesting to see how she develops. It's unfortunate that this is the last season for that show, so we're not going to get to see too much of Ezri Dax.
And I
but-
really wouldn't count on them going into the movies just because unless they can come up with a really great storyline,
Yeah.
it's really not situated
Yeah.
for a movie, unfortunately, because it's still probably one of the best TV shows out there. Not sci-fi, I mean TV.
True.
shows
If they are
in
smart,
general.
Paramount will play in Voyager. At the end of the season, they'll come back into the Alpha Quadrant through whatever means, and the next set of movies will be the Next Generation movies with Deep Space Nine and Voyager playing parts in it.
Yeah, just guest appearances.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
But practically speaking, everyone wants a part in the film. Is that going to be
Why not?
doable?
Why
Well,
not?
They can do cameos.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
true.
doesn't have to be, major roles.
But they'd have like 3-second cameos. Or
And
something.
and let's face it, it's
Well,
Hollywood. A lot
facts.
of people with this big of a corral of characters to pull from, they don't have to schedule things around anybody's particular schedule. If Jonathan Frakes isn't available for a movie or Patrick Stewart isn't available for a movie, they can have them off doing something else and pull in Captain Sisko or Captain. Help me out.
Captain
Worf.
Janeway.
Captain Janeway.
Captain Janeway.
You can
Janeway.
have either of them take the seat of the Enterprise.
Right.
And I mean that will add to some story elements itself with the trust and yet mistrust of different characters getting used to each other and working together. Stop it.
Got some on me. Okay.
You should be so lucky.
All right. Has anyone caught? It's kind of a series that we haven't talked a whole lot about, but Earth Final Conflict. It's based on Gene
catch-
Roddenberry.
Yeah, I catch it
I
every once
watched
in a while.
1 hour.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, didn't like it. Okay.
It's slowly growing on me. I don't make a point to see it.
Oh.
though,
Oh yeah.
We'll take care of that right now.
Okay. Oh. Damn.
Get a
Well, the
shot.
way I look
Clear
at
right
it is
up.
that they killed the lead character off in the second
Yeah, they
season.
did.
I mean,
Yeah, but they
Is
brought they
Boone's
they
dead?
killed
Boone's
yeah
dead.
Boone's dead.
Forget it.
No, I'm not gonna watch it.
it
See?
anymore.
Boone bought the farm. Boone's farm. I remember those days.
No, I like Boone. And
Uh,
if they killed Boone, forget
Yeah, but
it.
they brought in a new character who I think
Yeah.
has a lot more potential than
he's
Boone ever
a
had.
combination of
Yeah.
a human and a tailor.
And
Why didn't
I
they
have the
do that
feeling
in
that
the
he's
first
using
place, though?
Boone's Boone's DNA in there somehow.
Right.
Yeah?
So,
All right, well, I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Alvin, you had some information about Sliders. I wrote here that
Yeah,
it's been renewed for another season.
there are good news and bad news. The good news is Sliders has been renewed for a 5th season, and shooting starts next week. The bad news is neither one of the O'Connell brothers are going to be coming back. I don't know what they're going to be doing with their storylines. The news just broke over Sci-Fi Channel's Dominion website. But they are involved in various movie projects and stuff with the success of Jerry Maguire. Jerry O'Connell probably has his slate full and just needs to do
Now,
it
see, I'm
anymore.
surprised because it was O'Connell himself that was one of the major producers of the show. So that brings up the question: did they toss him off the series? Is he no longer involved at all? Or
I
what's
don't
going
know.
on?
I just think they just decided to move on to other projects. Obviously, the characters will be replaced. I don't know who the replacements are yet, but
Is Carrie Worth still going to be
she's
on the
gonna
show?
still be there.
I'm still watching. Yeah.
But if
Wah, wah,
I
wah.
Wah wah wah.
if I had to place my bets, I would say this is probably going to be Sliders last season.
You think so? Yeah, well, it's a good show. I
Well,
like it.
we're going to be talking
Dimensional
about something.
Bone.
We're going to be talking about another show in a couple of minutes, which I had mentioned something at our production meeting, and they're like, "No
It's
way!"
all right,
and it
dear.
turned out
It'll
to
be
be
over
exactly
soon.
right. but-
Yeah, we'll talk about that
Anyway.
in a second. Okay, welcome to
My
Paradox.
volume.
Welcome to Paradox is another show on the Sci-Fi Channel. It's best described as an Outer Limits wannabe, I think.
Outer Limits, Hitchhiker, yeah, that kind of thing.
It takes place in a city of the future called Betaville, and it's about these different characters making some different choices and the consequences of those choices. Like, for example, last week's The latest episode I saw had Alice Krieg from Star Trek First Contact. She played the Borg Queen. Yep. And Habitat, another strange movie that she was in. She was the wife of a billionaire who decided to buy this, for lack of a better term, a bio-robot as this perfect woman, and she could do anything that he wanted her to do. But as a result, he was bored to death because, you know, she had no mind of her own, no opinions or personalities. It's about she gets jealous of this particular bio-robot, but in the end, she has no reason to be jealous because he's actually in love with his wife. He finds that out at the end. So it's some of the stories are well done. Others are hit and miss. The very first one was written by Alan Dean Foster.
Wow.
Which was pretty good. There's some good writers. They're based on some excellent short stories. They don't always translate well onto the TV screen, but it's worth checking out. It's on Monday evenings at 10 o'clock on the Sci-Fi channel.
Okay, I got to clear one thing up before we go any further. Something Donna just said reminded me of it, and it happened before. We, being involved very heavily in science fiction and fantasy, occasionally have the insight that a lot of people out there, I've had a lot of people who don't have anything to do with science fiction and fantasy, occasionally they'll know what Star Wars is, Star Trek,
right.
And they tune in and watch our show because they like the interplay between all of us and everything, but they say, well, what were you talking about when you referred to something? Donna just said Hitchhiker. Hitchhiker that she's referring to is an old, I think it was a USA.
No, it's
It started out.
It's
Started on HBO, then it went to USA, and it was syndicated.
It was a series based around the stories being told by this man who hitchhiked across country. And he was kind of like the catalyst for all the stories. He introduced things and he would finish them up, give the moral at the end of the story. A lot of other people think we're talking about Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is very often referred to as Hitchhiker. It's not the same thing. Hitchhiker's Guide was a series of books. I think they got up to 5 eventually, didn't they?
5 or 6 at least.
5 or 6 books.
Parody.
It was a very big science fiction parody. So the two, just for the sake of people out there who are watching, if we're talking about Douglas Adams books, we'll say Hitchhiker's Guide. Any other time we're mentioning Hitchhiker, it's going to be the HBO USA series. So just to clear that up, it's really technical, but a lot of people say, what are you talking about?
Right.
And,
That's
you know,
a good point.
it's just to clear it up for you people out there.
Good job.
Assume sometimes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what we're talking
Now,
about.
we're not Captain Obscure Reference like someone else that we know,
Yeah, okay.
but who will remain nameless in another state. But it just... Okay, I beat that one to death. Let's go on.
And last but not least, I hate to do this now, this last one, I really hate to. There was a show out that premiered on UPN just 2 weeks ago, Mercy Point. Not yet, please don't do it yet. It's best described as ER, or Chicago Hope in Space.
It's best described as dead
It's
air.
dead air. They canceled it. I am so pissed. They canceled this show.
I'm upset. We got a clip.
Oh, we got a clip.
Here we go,
okay.
we got a clip. And this is just the opening credits from,
Are we supposed to be talking over this?
I don't know, but we are anyway. Oh, yes, we are. He's saying yes. We
Okay.
Yeah, we had our
Here we
production meeting Wednesday, and they were telling me all about this really good show. Like, I heard about it. I'm like, it sounds really stupid. It's probably going to get canceled. And they're like, no.
But if you give it a chance, I mean, it's not this particular nurse on the right. She is an android. She's able to somewhat mimic emotions. The doctor on the left is one of the chief head of surgery. There's also aliens. They treat aliens as well as humans in this. This is Mercy Point is like a way station out in the middle of space.
Kind of like an ER in space.
Kind of like an ER in space.
Or if you've ever seen any of the White books, Sector General novels, it's very reminiscent of those as well. Those are a great series
Right.
of books.
Joe Spano is the head director.
This is nice, but I mean, here again, it's a case of overkill. You've got Babylon 5 that takes place, most of the action takes place on a space station.
Right.
You've got Deep Space Nine. Most of the action takes place on a space station. Now you've got Mercy Point. Most of the action taking place on a space station. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it's overkill. I love science fiction. I say, hey, the more the better, but even I am going to sit there and say, come on, not another science fiction space station
Well, it's
show.
one of the advantages of
It's cheaper than putting it on a planet and trying to come up with a new...
No, not a planet, the planet.
the planet.
Being on
Let's refer to it the right way. Remember that episode
It's
where
the
they were
one
on the planet?
Being on UPN isn't helping you either. The United Paramount Network, because it's basically in a free fall. Whereas when it first debuted along with Warner Brothers, it was dominating the ratings with the Warner Brothers. Now Warner Brothers is coming around with Buffy and stuff, and just cleaning, you know, the UPN's clock. Even Voyager, I mean, their ratings are really anemic. If it was on any other station, it would have been canceled 2 years ago.
What a shame, too, because it looked like a very promising series, and I had a lot of fun watching it. Hopefully, they'll at least run out the rest of the episodes. They've
Sci-Fi Channel, a year and a half.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
Yeah,
of course.
I'd really like, maybe, you know, there'll be some sort of an uproar about it or something. I really did like this
I don't
show.
even think they got enough chance. I mean, after 2 shows.
Well, like I said earlier, the 30-second clip lasted almost half as long as the entire series lasted on the air.
So if you did happen to catch the show and you liked it, then get on UPN's website and bitch and moan to them, and maybe they'll do something.
But in the meantime, Mercy Point, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye.
Okay, Donna, why don't we move into Essential Sci-Fi Library?
Why don't we?
Why don't we?
Go ahead.
Okay, cut it out.
Let's all listen to Donna.
Donna's not going to be able to talk with him.
Donna's turning the same color as her shirt. Okay, go ahead, Donna.
Okay, for Essential Sci-Fi Library this month, I have picked Metropolis. It is an old silent movie, and it's probably the first science fiction movie ever created, and it's really, really well done. The special effects in this movie, you wouldn't think that it was done at the beginning of the century. It's just that well.
You had early, middle 20s, correct? 26?
Yes, I think so, yes. It's about a society that's gone very mechanized. It's a giant split in the people. There's the working class drones and the upper class. And that's just the way society is until some naive young man, Frieder, kind of starts noticing that these things are happening, and he takes an interest in the society. And he also, he falls in love with Maria, who is one of the people that's trying to get a change in the society. Because this is a great scene. It's been shown a lot. It just shows the drones of the society with the mechanized walking, and they just file in, file out. You know, that's life for them. It's not much more than being a drone.
If you hit one in the back, they'll all fall over.
Yeah, get those little bowling ball.
Funny, it looks like the entrance line at a Star Trek convention.
Where's the toys?
$35, I'll see Jimmy doing. Here we go.
$60 if you want it personalized.
Yeah. Now, a little bit of trivia about this film. I don't know how many of you know this or not, but Fritz Lang...
didn't. Oh, I'm sorry, you haven't told us yet.
Fritz Lang, the director, after the film premiered, was contacted by a certain gentleman in history, the Chancellor of Germany, Adolf Hitler, who saw this film and said, "This is what I want my society to be like." Fritz Lang heard this and promptly left Germany the next day. He said, "I am out of here, folks." And I mean, this is exactly what the Fuhrer had envisioned his society to be like, and thank God it didn't come to pass. Of course, we all know the history behind it, but it just goes to show what old Adolf had in mind.
Yeah, it was well done.
It's pretty scary stuff.
JD, I'm sorry.
What happens with the movie is there's an evil inventor who creates a robot, and he manages to make the robot look like Maria. He kidnaps her, and he puts her in there to put a little dissension in the ranks, and just what happens with everything. It's really well done. Hopefully you can pick it up. There are copies out there. It's not very expensive, and okay, it's a silent movie. Some people might get a little, unhappy with that kind of a thing. But it's really well done, and it definitely
Does it
caught
have
my
an organ
attention.
accompaniment in the background?
My copy, no. It's total silence.
Okay, I believe they're having some new copies come out with organ accompaniment.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
also, Mike told me that there is a version out there with Queen music.
Mm-hmm. It's very fitting. It seems to play really well. Now,
Flash.
trivia number 2. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Maria the robot in that was the basis in George Lucas's mind for C-3PO.
That's
Yes,
right.
That's right.
Because
Very
early
You can see the similarities.
It's
Yep.
a very cool looking robot. I don't know if we've got the copy, the box down here somewhere.
Oh, over here. Here, have some water. I'm getting wet. Oh, I'll get you. Here we go. Hit me with a sponge. Oh, I love it. Oh, I've got you. Yes. Oh, your breath. Get away from me. Thank you.
You can do your own image. Okay.
You don't
See,
need
if you don't like
soundtrack,
science fiction,
yeah.
you can do what I just did and
That's true.
amuse yourself
MST
some night.
3000.
Okay, did you have a choice for Essential Sci-Fi Library?
Me?
Yeah. I
Um,
thought you brought something.
no.
Jay, did you have a choice for Essential Sci-Fi Library?
I can throw something up though.
My choice for Sci-Fi Library of the
Cheated.
Month is from the Carroll Merrill School, Dragon Riders of Pern. Anne McCaffrey, several years ago, I believe back in the 70s. And hey, guess what? I'm going to take a look right now and prove it. Anne McCaffrey wrote a series of books. A series of book? Anne writes series of book.
English.
I speak good. Anne McCaffrey wrote a series of books about a far-off planet called Pern, and a society of people on the planet of Pern who have grown up in a certain class society. There are the nobles, and there are the dragon riders, and then there are serfs below them. The dragon riders are more or less the knights of the society that serve a purpose, and the purpose of the dragon riders is to eliminate this thing, I can't describe it any other way than a living, burning bacteria that comes from another planet. Every so many years, I think it's every 20 years, the two planets come close together,
It's
and the
called
thread,
The thread.
migrates from this other planet and gets into the ground and destroys all the vegetation and basically wipes out anything living on Pern. And the purpose of the Dragon Riders is they go out and they act as combatants against the thread. They actually burn it with their fire breath in air as it's falling on the planet, and they wipe it out anywhere on the ground they find it. And the series of books is just basically examining life on Pern, involving a series of thread falls and how the Dragon Riders go back in time to gather up more Dragon Riders from the past, and the way things go. And I just opened up the first book. It was copyright 1968 by Anne McCaffrey. So I have the Del Rey edition. I don't know if Del Rey still owns the copyright to the books. I imagine they do. But it's a fascinating series, and she's gone on since to do the Dragon Singer, Crystal Singer, and all sorts of other stories based around this Pern universe. And I believe, I wish Dawn Dela Cruz was here, because Dawn is more or less our media storehouse of knowledge. She could tell me, but I believe that Anne McCaffrey is tying in all of her books together one way or another, with the Dinosaur Planet series, and there's another series that she writes, and I can't wait to see how she's going to tie this all together. But it's a fascinating read. It is not boring. The first two books in the series, Dragon Flight and Dragon Quest, I read in one sitting. I literally blew through the books in one afternoon.
Wow.
And that's very rare. I mean, I have a good attention span for a lot of what was I saying? No, I have a good attention span for a lot of things, but this really just grabbed my attention. And I went right through the books I missed lunch. So I read both books. They were given to me at Christmas time one year by my in-laws, and they're just fabulous books, and I recommend them wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Now, I'm sorry. We interrupted you. Did you have a choice?
Well, I wasn't going to bring this up now, but now that the more I thought about it while Jay was going through his thing, I could recommend this as my Essential Sci-Fi Library.
Okay.
Again, it's another DVD, but it's also, obviously, the movie itself is available on video. And if you have a laser display, you can also get this version. It is the Criterion version of RoboCop. Now, the Criterion Company is a company that's taken movies such as Silence of the Lambs, RoboCop, Sid and Nancy, a lot of the cultish movies which became marginal hits, and have spruced some of the scenes up. Like, for instance, RoboCop was Paul Verhoeven's breakout movie. He went on to go do such things as Total Recall and Basic Instinct, and more recently Starship Troopers.
Right.
Well, one of the things that had to do with RoboCop is that it was originally had an X rating because of the gore and violence.
Was it X or NC-17?
No, I think it was. They still had X at the time, so it was X. And all of the scenes, and they don't just show them extra as deleted scenes, they actually cut back into the movie. The DVD copy is taken from an exact print of the movie. They updated it, they did the sound, and all that sort of stuff. They also have running commentary by Mr. Verhoeven, the director, and the writers and the producers, so you can click onto a separate soundtrack while the movie's still going on. You can still hear the movie, but they'll be talking about different scenes and why they decided to do this sort of shot or that sort of shot and that sort of thing. That's one of the few good reasons. A lot of people don't want to go and jump on a DVD until it becomes recordable, and I can perfectly understand that. But for those of you movie buffs who love to watch movies over and over, especially now that Paramount and Fox, 20th Century Fox, have now released DVDs. Now all the major movie studios are doing it. If there are movies that you like, DVD and to a lesser point Laserdisc are the only places where you're going to get all this extra stuff. It's just stuff that you can't do on a video cassette.
Right.
And if you have a Laserdisc player or you have a DVD player, I strongly suggest you check it out. RoboCop was one of the best sci-fi movies I thought that came out in the 80s. The whole media scenes with the different commercials, like the Nukem commercial, if you remember that.
The commercials were great.
And plus just the whole take on RoboCop and the whole, you know, dead cyborg mentality type thing.
Well, it's also Peter Weller. I've always been a fan of his.
Ever since Buckaroo.
Buckaroo Banzai,
yeah. And I was a little upset, you know, that they covered him all up except for his mouth and chin. But hey, he's got a great mouth, so it wasn't too much of a hardship.
Do you see what we have to put up
you
with
learn something
every
new
single
every
episode?
time.
Why is a general category.
I am a minority
We're
here.
not singling out individual body parts.
Just come out.
Getting ourselves all excited and tingling.
Okay.
Okay.
My choice for Essential Sci-Fi Library.
Well, isn't that special?
My choice for Essential Sci-Fi Library this month is a comic book. If you are into comics, please pick up a copy of Michael Turner's Fathom.
Oh, Fathom.
Fathom by Top Cow. This is great.
That's a nice cover.
Great storyline. Yeah, it's a nice cover. There's only 2 issues. Number 3
Fabulous
should be out.
artwork from
Michael Turner.
Yeah.
Good storyline. The scientist, her name is Aspen. She goes to a deep sea research station, and earlier in her life when she was a child she fell overboard on a fishing expedition and was rescued by this Atlantean race of mermaids or whatever, for lack of a better term. She gets rescued by them and somehow is able to transform herself so she can live underwater. And the story's just getting started, so I can't give you too many details, but it's very well written. The artwork is absolutely beautiful.
Show them the artwork. It's gorgeous stuff.
It's really gorgeous stuff. If you have a chance to collect any comic, this is the one to get.
I think I see...
Michael Turner's the one who has also done the Witchblade series, so he's one of probably the artists out there right now.
So Fathom by Top Cow is my choice.
Mike Lopes is probably going to meet these people and get autographed copies of things because Mike is a very big artwork aficionado. Am I correct, Mike?
Yes, he is.
Correct. Jay, why don't you move us into this month's round table question? This is going to be good. Wait, I got to get ready for this one. Okay.
Okay, can we have the graphic that says Geek Alert going across the bottom of the screen?
Are you ready? Okay.
Okay.
Actually, I'll get the shine off my head at the same time.
It's a question to him.
Go ahead.
Okay, the round table question for this month.
Thank you to my sister-in-law.
And I really wish that we had Barry Cook and Daphne here to join in this discussion. Yeah, and Mike. And
I'm looking while you're talking.
So if you guys are watching this episode, please, get in touch with us and we can schedule some future roundtable discussions on subjects. But what does the future hold for Star Trek?
Good question.
In my crystal ball of the mind, I see...
Not much, no.
Well, I'll tell you what. From what I understand, the new Star Trek movie, which so far has gone unhyped... Insurrection. Sounds like it's going to be a darn good film. And I think if Paramount wants to keep the Star Trek line going, they're going to have to stop and regroup and get their act together and concentrate on where their best options lie, who the best characters are, and gather them all in one specific place,
Right.
put all their cards and all their eggs in one basket, and go from there, and then go out. I mean, let's face it, the Star Trek universe exploded. They saw a good thing and they tried to capitalize on it. In fact, they launched the whole UPN network based around Voyager,
Right.
which at the time I think we said was a questionable move at the time when it happened. So that's my take on it. Donna, anybody have?
Well, I'm still more of a fan of classic than the newer spring-offs. I agree. I did think that they spread themselves out too thin. It doesn't have the take for me. It's never really sunk. But if they want to bring back some of, maybe like you said, if they cull some of the less interesting characters and make it a stronger show, maybe they can get me back in there. But as it is, it's more of a I don't care.
It's more of an apathy type of thing at the moment. And with all of the quality science fiction that's being put out there, every once in a while you see somebody come along and say, "Gee, what's this film all about?" And all of a sudden it's just thrown in your face, and it turns out to be a really good film. For example, the movie Ants, which is not really science fiction. It's more or less a fantasy type of thing. But I mean, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't hear anything about it. I mean, I read the trades every once in a while, and that came out of nowhere, and it's a fabulous little film, depending on who you listen to. Joel, what's his name?
Siegel?
Joel Siegel from Channel 6, from ABC. My father said, "Gee, hey, that Joel Siegel really panned that movie Ants." And I said, "Yeah, well, Dad, put the two and two together. ABC is owned by the Disney company. Disney has their own movie coming out called A Bug's Life. So, of course, Joel Siegel's not going to be raving about Ants, which is going to be in direct competition." So...
Disney's already influenced their exertions on ABC or once already with that Disney story that he pulled, but that's not sci-fi.
Yeah, but that's not Star Trek either.
No, that's not anything to do with Star Trek. So Star Trek, it's grim. The prognosis is grim.
Well, the books, though. The books might save it long enough for something interesting to happen.
I don't...
If anything is written by Peter David...
Read it.
He's an incredible author. He can really capture the characters and bring some life to them, sometimes more than what they have on the TV show. He does a really good job. He makes interesting characters.
There's a sample right there. Yeah. The New Frontier series, which is really good.
Okay, I got to ask, how much time do we have left? 5 minutes? Okay.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we went fast.
Okay, I'm going to say a couple of suggestions that I've got. One suggestion I've got, if you really like Star Trek, what does the future hold for Star Trek? I think it's not going to be so much quality in the TV shows as it will be other things like video games and cards and stuff. This is a new game coming out. Star Trek game is called Birth of the Federation. And in it you can play one of 5 different alliances. You can play Federation, you can play Ferengi, Klingon, Romulan, Cardassian. You get to control starships. It's going to be the computer game of the 4th quarter season. If you're a real big Star Trek fan, books like Peter David's series, New Frontier series, is good Star Trek to check out as well.
Plus, I can't say enough, for those of you who are going on vacation to the West Coast, go to Vegas. The Star Trek experience is worth every penny that you pay.
Right.
And then some.
Right, so there's still a lot of good Star Trek out there. Maybe not in the TV series themselves, but there's other stuff you
I would just say the future is bleak, but there is hope.
Oh, check out the DS9 technical manual, too. That was just released. Oh, what a sweet deal that is. I was fishing through it the other day. I didn't have the money to pick it up yet, but it's really nice if you get a chance. All right, if you want to get in touch with us at the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club, we have a new post office box. You can write to us at Post Office Box 8515, Warwick, Rhode Island. The zip is 02888. Drop us a line. We'll be glad to get back in touch with you. Jay, what about on the computer?
As always, it's sci-fi journal at CompuServe.com, and there is a little underline between sci and fi and journal. And it's not on my copy. The underline isn't between fi and journal, but it's there. Trust me.
know it's an invisible underline.
It's an invisible. Boy, I just be having problems talking today, don't I?
Callie, do you want to add something else?
Yes, and as always, the website is www.sony.energy.com /sci-fi journal One word.
And half of our fans just died waiting for you to finish that.
Is it over?
Was it good for you? Anyway.
Well,
so,
it was good for me.
toys and props, quickly. Scan
And-
the set for some toys and props.
Toys and props. All right. Well, we've got Transformer, which is Optimus with that the old Optimus Prime.
$1, the whole thing at a flea market.
God
you know
bless
how
you.
hard it is to get those things?
Yeah,
I
and
was
over
happy.
here, this is the Lost in Space robot, the new one
The
from
cannibalized
from the movie.
version.
Yep, we've got the Next Generation Enterprise over here. In the back are a couple of Thunderbird toys from the Puppet series.
Do I see a Batmobile?
There's a Batmobile. That was from the animated series, the first season animated series, a little torpedo type
That's so cool.
Batmobile. That's correct. This is a Mackenzie Calhoun figure.
Action figure. Mackenzie Calhoun is the captain of the Star Trek New Frontier series,
The Excalibur.
which is the first series that has absolutely nothing to do basically with the TV, any of the TV shows. It has a couple of fringe characters from Next Generation that are prepared in an episode or two, but that is it.
Right.
He is the first totally new character to have his own action figure done.
Okay.
You can get it through the Star Trek Communicator.
Mike, can you flash back down really quickly to that book that we saw on the bottom?
A science fiction book.
La 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 la. No.
Okay, there we go. Is that the science fiction?
The Ultimate Encyclopedia.
Okay, the Ultimate Science Fiction
Duh.
Encyclopedia. Next to it is Troops,
Troops.
which we saw.
That's the bootleg copy I picked up.
Right. And if you can get back in back of us really quickly here, I know we're running out of time.
So maybe we'll say goodbye as you're painting.
Yeah,
or
we'll say
something.
goodbye now, and if you get to see it, that's the Horrid from...
No, that's Jay. That's
Hey, who is Harry?
Gee, he's kind of hard.
yeah. When are you leaving? Anyway,
Gonna
well,
put up with me for a few more days.
yeah, that's
darn.
true.
So,
Oh, well.
and take that Halloween mask off. So,
Next show, we're going to probably do an end of the year review.
Yeah, we'll do an end of the year review, what was good and what was not so good in science fiction, fantasy, and horror.
What had happened during the year,
Right.
comings and goings.
We'll
that
highlight
stuff.
some Christmas gifts that you should be picking up for your loved ones.
With any luck, I'll be home.
With any luck, you'll be home.
Maybe if we
For
schedule
Christmas.
it during the Christmas party, I can make it because I'm going to get that day off. Always get the
Christmas.
Christmas party off.
because I'm a drunken guy.
Well,
And if you were members of the club, you would know what we were talking
That's
about.
right. Okay, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thanks for
Nice
watching,
seeing you. It's good to be back.
and we'll see you next month.
Oh, wait, do our Princess Diana. There you go.
Princess Diana. That's Princess
Homage.
Diana.
Homage. Yeah, this is how she used to wave to people. She was
Really?
classy.
I still want to know why. I still want to know why the Wookiee
Does it
didn't
make
get a
you
medal.
classy?
I will never be classy. I will, if
What
I
do you
am
do?
ever classy.